here's my thing. Okay. My name is Leonardo da Vinci. I was born in Vinci, Italy on April 15th, 1452. I was one of the greatest artists in history. I was a master in almost all the arts. I was a painter, inventor, sculptor, architect, musician, art critic, and sculptor. I also studied the science as a military and civil engineer, a botanist, an astronomer, and a geologist. I was very excellent in math and engineering, although I showed most skill in painting and drawing. Because of my talent as an artist, I was brought to Florence to be taught by Verrocchio. He and I studied painting, sculpture, and engineering. My first piece of work was the Baptism of Christ by Verrocchio. I did the angel. I soon mastered painting and was better than Verrocchio. In 1472, I qualified as a master painter, and the Painters Guild of Florence admitted me. I kept working with Verrocchio until 1476 and developed my own style. In the early 1480s, I gave service to the Duke of Milan. I entertained the Duke by playing my various mechanical instruments that I invented while making up the songs and lyrics as I went along. You could call me the freestyle rapper of the 15th century. While in Milan, I completed the painting, The Madonna of the Rocks. This was the first painting to show my style that I am best known for. During this period, I also completed the painting, The Last Supper. This painting shows my knowledge of perspective, and many people thought this was one of my greatest paintings ever. This painting represents the Last Supper that Jesus Christ had with his disciples. I worked on this painting off and on because I had to find a person with a perfect face for Jesus. People say that I looked over hundreds of men to find a man with no scars and looked like he had never sinned. In the end, I found a boy at the age of 19, and I painted him for 6 months. In 1499, I moved back to Florence and painted the Mona Lisa, or La Gioconda. This painting has started lots of controversy. Most think that the Mona Lisa is a painting of Lisa Girardini, a mother of 5 children and a cloth and silk merchant. She was married to Francesco Giocondo. Some might say that the painting was of Francesco del Giocondo, who was Lisa Girardini's husband. People also say that the painting was a self-portrait that I painted of myself in my earlier years. People thought this because when other self-portraits of me are put next to the Mona Lisa, the features align perfectly, like seen here. Because there are similar features, people sometimes think that this was a portrait of my mother, because, we had similar features. I know myself who it is a portrait of, but I'm not going to ruin your imagination by giving it away. In 1502 and 1503, I took time off to work for General Caesar Borgia. I drew intricate maps for military areas. I also invented a breech-loading cannon that was the first automatic gun ever invented. I returned to Milan in 1502 to work for Louis VI of France and studied anatomy. In my notebook, I drew many drawings of the human anatomy that were 100% accurate. Here's one. Here's one. Here's one. This one. And this one. 100% accurate. It is fairly hard to read my handwriting, though, because I wrote in mirror text, which was, instead of left to right, it was right to left, and it was backwards and all this stuff. And the only way you could ever read it was if you looked at it through a mirror. After I studied anatomy, I was invited to live in France, and eventually I moved into a castle in 1516. I lived there the rest of my life until I died on May 2nd, 1519. People say I died in the arms of the French king. Over my life, I completed many incredible things. I made perfectly accurate drawings of human anatomy. I made the first automatic machine gun. I also made the first robot and the first helicopter. I was a master in music, painting, architecture, anatomy, sculpting, inventing. You could say I had it all. Done it, been done it.